Hello, students. Before you begin doing your problem of the days this week for math, I wanted to review just briefly um, telling time because we had just started going over this right before our school closed. So I just want to remind you, this is called an analog clock. It is different from a digital clock. A digital clock is what a lot of us do have in our homes right now, where it just tells you the time. This is called an analog clock, and remember it has an hour hand and a minute hand. Okay, so if I look at this clock up here, for instance, the shorter hand is the hour hand. It tells you what hour it is, and the longer hand is the minute hand. Okay, it tells you the minutes past the hour. So if you're on this side of the clock, remember we talked about the minutes past the hour. And on this side of the clock, we talked about the minutes until or before the next hour. So if your hour hand is between 2 hours, like if this were between the 12 and the 1, then I would know that it's still 12. It isn't 1 yet until it actually gets to the 1. Then I wanted to point out to you these little tick marks on the clock between the numbers. Each one stands for 1 minute. There are 5 minutes between each number. So when you're counting to find out where the minute hand is on the clock, you start at the 12, that's 0 minutes, and then you count around by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. This is 60 minutes, but when it gets up to the 12 again, it will be the next hour on the clock. Now, some of the questions you're going to have to answer are a little bit tricky because you'll look at where the hour hand is to know the hour, but to figure out the minutes, for instance, on this clock, you would have to go from the 12 to the 1 is 5 minutes. This one isn't quite to the 2 yet, so I'm going to count on by ones. So 5, 6, 7, 8. This clock tells me that it's 8 minutes after the hour of 10 o'clock. So it's 10:08, or 8 minutes after 10. In the questions that you have this week, sometimes it'll show you a time like this, like 10:08, and it'll ask you what time it's going to be in another 15 minutes maybe. So then you're going to need to count on 15 minutes. So you might start at the 8 and go 2 minutes to get to the 2. So you have 2 minutes there. So from 2 to the 3 is 5, 10, plus that other 2 minutes is 12 minutes, 13, 14, 15. So your minute hand would land on the third mark after the 4, which would be 5, 10, 15, 20, and the third mark after the 4 would be 21, 22, 23. So that would be 23 minutes, or in another 15 minutes from this time, it would be 23 minutes after the hour of 10 o'clock. Okay, so I just wanted to be able to review that with you. Each problem of the day only has one question for you, and it does give you a picture of an analog clock. But if that picture doesn't work for you, you can always go on to Google and just look for an analog clock like I did here, or perhaps you have one in your house, and that would be fine as well. I can't wait to see your answers.